Sports with strawberry ice. Sports with strawberry ice came to play. Sports with strawberry ice and the play. Energy's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Sports with strawberry ice. With strawberry ice, here to stay, covering Hood Gang Nation. Bearcat Country.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports Strawberry Ice. I'm here with the Iceman Jeff Trunapole, and as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is brought to you by Priority Lawn and Landscaping. It is hot as hell out there. If you don't want to cut your grass, let Priority Lawn and Landscaping do it. If you got flower beds that need to be mulched or weeded, let Priority Lawn and Landscaping do it. Give them a call at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. You can message Johnny on Facebook, or you can call him, and when you do, tell him you heard about him for Sports with Strawberry Ice. Also, got this thing coming up still. I'm in the Celebrity Softball Classic. I don't really know if I consider myself a celebrity, but I'm in it. 35th Annual Celebrity Softball Classic, July 17th, the Florence Yalls Stadium. Get tickets at Celebrity Softball Classic. You can watch me either make a fool out of myself or hopefully not hurt myself. We'll see what happens. What's up to everybody in the chat? We got Stranger in there, Paul Painter's in there, Wings in there. Yep, I got a new intro, new song. Just got to change up every once in a while. With that being said, let's get to one of my guests who's been on here many, many times. He has been covering Cincinnati sports for, I don't know, 30 years. Something like that. I'm kind of guessing, maybe longer than that. He is the man. He is from Local 12. He is Richard Skinner. What's up, Skinny?
How you doing, Ice?
Good, brother. Good. I'm just enjoying, well, let's say enjoying this heat, but God, it's hot.
Yeah, you know, back when I played softball, I honestly, I love days like this, like weekend tournaments, and you know, you get a great sweat in, you down beers, and you wouldn't even feel it basically. But I walked outside early this morning we got a new puppy, to take the puppy out. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this is the start of the day. So yeah, not good.
No, not good at all. I'm kind of glad we're not down at the stadium for a training camp right now. We'd be roasting.
Well, I was going to say, you know, God love the fans that have gone to the ballpark the last two nights. I mean, it is the Yankees in town. They're playing well, all those things. But it's not like you've been in a comfortable environment watching those games.
Not whatsoever, man. I've enjoyed the games from my comfort of my my couch over there.
Me too.
Game here, man. But hey, let's get into the game last night. And Chase Burns, man, 5 straight strikeouts to start his major league debut. I think he ended up with 8 total strikeouts, I think, if I'm correct.
Yep.
I mean, I know he left the game losing, but I was impressed with it. What'd you think about it?
I mean, hard not to be. I think you talk about a way to start your career. You know, it's almost like that little league pitcher that dominates that you know you're never going to hit, right? It's like, man, he's going to strike all of us out. And it kind of had that feel to it. You know that wasn't going to take place because it is major league hitters on the other side and pretty good ones in the Yankees. But that was impressive. And, you know, back-to-back years, pitchers from Wake Forest have taken almost similar paths. Didn't pitch when they got drafted, and the next year started in A, quickly went to AA, quickly went to AAA. More so last year, I think louder by default because of all the injuries came up. And this year it was almost like kind of by default because you did have a spot in the rotation for him, and Nick Martinez has been struggling, and it puts him back in the bullpen. But I think this year was more, okay, we're starting to win some ball games. This guy's nothing left to prove at AAA. From what I understand, they were actually keeping him down there, trying to have him handle some adversity for the first time and just see how he handled it. If he got hit around or, you know, didn't have his control and a night game was more, but he didn't. I mean, he wasn't down there long enough, but he didn't. I think at that point their hand was kind of forced of, okay, there's nothing left to prove. Let's let him maybe go through some adversity at the big league level. And who knows, maybe he doesn't go through much. You know, the only adversity Rhett Lauder's really gone through has been the arm injury. I mean, he was fantastic last year.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm impressed with Chase and Rhett Lauder last year, they weren't too big. The moment wasn't too big for them.
Not at all.
And Chase said, they asked him, I think somebody asked him after the game, what was like, you know, facing Aaron Judge. He's like, it's just another batter. And that's, I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm going up there facing Aaron Judge, I'm not thinking he's another batter. But that's what you got to think if you're Chase Burns.
He wouldn't have thought of that if Aaron Judge had caught up to one of those fastballs hit at 500 feet. He would have known. He would have known what Aaron Judge is all about. So
Right. But I mean, and just on top of Chase Burns' debut last night, the Reds in general. I mean, last time you were on here, we were both complaining about the Reds' offense and how maybe Matt McLean's not going to come around, maybe Ellie's not going to come around. Well, we hit June, and they're starting to play like the team we thought they were going to be. And last night was a great instance of that, of coming back not once but twice, coming back in the extra innings to tie the game up. That was something we were not seeing back in April, definitely back in May. I mean, how many times we have a one-run game or got shut out or whatever? This offense is finally starting to turn around. And is this the Terry Francona effect, or the guys just finally starting to be able to hit?
maybe a little of both, right? You know, Ellie has played at a superstar level for the last month, and that's kind of what we were expecting. It was time to take that next step to being a superstar and carrying this team. But now it's different parts of the lineup. Now Matt McLean's back up towards the top of the order because he's hitting. Friedel's had a good year almost from Jump Street. I mean, you know, we're doing this obviously on a Wednesday evening, and the Reds are about to play in about an hour or so, and they're facing one of the best pitchers in baseball, Max Fried. And if I heard the lineup right, I think other than Friedel, it's all right-handed hitters, making Ellie obviously go to the right-handed side. Right. All right-handed hitters with CES batting eighth. Now, listen, he's not hitting great, but you're now at a place where the lineup is lengthened out, and now you can send out a respectable right-handed hitting lineup. Now, listen, Max Fried could two-hit them for all I know because he's that good, but at least you can now against lefties put a lineup out and go, okay, I feel good about this. I'm not putting out Garrett Hampson, and I'm not putting out Justin Dunn. I mean, I'm putting out guys that I feel are major league caliber hitters against that lineup. So, I think the hopefully, and this is the official end of the first half of the season tonight, that it bodes well for the second half of the season. I know people look at the All-Star break as first half, second half, but it's the 81st game, and the trends are going in the right direction. That's the bottom line to it. Yeah, that's a good thing. And they made a move this week, and Paul Painter's bringing up how much did Candy's contract the Reds eat, which I was surprised. I think it's like $24 million. I think that sounds about right. Yeah, it's the prorated portion of the rest of this year and then next year. So they ate a good chunk. Which
I don't know about you. I'm surprised they did that. I thought they might try to hide him.
I guess you're at the point of this of there's no room at the end. Maybe like you feel like we're good where we're at. We're not going to go through this experiment again. It just didn't work out. Maybe they feel like he's got nothing left in the tank too, and instead of having that albatross hanging over your head of, well, we're paying him, so we might as well play him. Let's just get rid of him and say to heck with it.
How many times have they done that in the past, though? That's why I'm surprised that they didn't do that.
I think it was a good sign.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good sign to me the way they've been playing. It's just the getting rid of him shocked me. I mean, it's because, we ought to keep talking about Ellie. My glasses broke. That's why I keep messing with them here. Right in the middle of the show.
Dollar General specials?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
That's what I got. Yeah, I got about 10 pairs.
Let me here. Because I can't see the stupid screen without my glasses anymore. I'm getting old. Here. That's better. All right.
You got a replacement pair. Well done.
Exactly. So with all this talk about Ellie, and I get tired of hearing this. I heard this a lot last week and a lot in May. Well, maybe we should just go ahead and trade Ellie now and we get something for him. And I'm like, what are you going to get for him? Why trade him now? Because, yes, most likely we're not going to sign him. But why trade him now to go get more prospects that you can bring up and then not pay?
Somebody asked that question on my podcast too, and we debated it of when's the right time if you're going to do it. It certainly wasn't now. I mean, you want to see how far he gets along in his development before you even consider that. And if maybe you don't think his development is going to go any further than what it was going to, but it's always been scratching the surface. And then all of a sudden, man, the light bulb's gone off. He's on pace to hit in the low 30s for homers. And who knows if he gets hot in the second half, if that doesn't balloon, because remember, he went through, pretty significant homer drought in the first half of the season and all of a sudden started picking it up. He's on pace to knock in over 100 runs. He's on pace to steal 40 bases. He's on pace to score 120 runs. And again, if this offense gets going and he continues to go in the right direction, he may threaten the franchise record for runs scored this season when all is said and done. So, and that's just year 3 of a 23, 24-year-old guy, right? And you feel like this is the scratching of the surface that you needed to see to go, okay, he is going to be that mega superstar. Right. But I think there's even more in the tank for this guy.
Oh, I do too. Only issue I have with him is defense. And it's not getting to the ball. It's throwing the ball to first base. there's sometimes, man, he'll throw the ball. I'm like, oh man, that looks high. That looks high. And then all of a sudden I see Steer jump, as high as he can to try to get him. I'm like, man.
All right, this is going to make me sound old. You'll remember the guy, but it occasionally reminds me of Sean Dunston, who played for the Cubs,
Yep.
where he's got such a cannon for an arm. He'd pat it, and wait till the last. He did one.
Yep.
What was the game the other night? It might have been one of the weekend games where it was a routine play. He made it routinely, and then he kind of just hung on. I mean, it was a bang play at first. Thank goodness he has that cannon for an arm. So, there's still some rough patches certainly to iron out with him, where the spectacular is just spectacular. I mean, I'll always go back to that catch and foul territory earlier this year, where he just came out of the picture and made just a ridiculous. Nobody else makes that play. He made a great play in one of the weekend games, pop fly more towards the second base side of center field in shallow center. The wind kind of blew it back over his head, and he had to make a crazy wild catch that showed off his athleticism. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, the routine has got to get cleaned up.
Yeah, and the thing is, the Reds' defense have gotten better all around. That was another issue I was having. I mean, the catch Jake Fraley made right field the other night, where he dove backhanded. That's what people like. Everybody he dove and caught. Like, no, he dove and he backhanded it, that's even more difficult. And then DJ Friedel makes goal. I know he botched one last night, but he makes goal. I mean, he stole the home run away.
Yeah, that was a game. Yeah, that was a damned if you do, damned if you don't play last night, right? I mean, you got you make the break on the ball, but you're right. I mean, that's certainly was a misplay, if you will. But no, I mean, as much as this is a power pitching staff, I mean, you're probably only accounting for 15 outs a game. 10 or 11 of those are probably routine, and then you make another 3 or 4 that are not, that save a run here and a run there. I mean, it's big, and they've done a lot of that.
Exactly. I got a statement here for our question, Timothy Beetle here. My boy Beetle. Charlie Goldschmidt said today that there was a player-only meeting June 6th, and they've gone 12 and 5 cents. He said Trevino and Lux are 2 main guys behind it. You got anything to add on to that?
No, I do love those because, you hold those meetings for some reason. Sometimes you want to clear the air about stuff. Sometimes it's an airing of the grievances. And sometimes it's for cosmetic sake. Like, let's do something, do anything. We'll hold a players only meeting. And, it just coincides. They go 12 and 5. I don't know if the players only meeting started having Ellie hit home runs on a consistent basis, or Matt McClain start hitting better because of the players only meeting. But sometimes, listen, those things can sometimes just be one of those that you have it, you feel better afterwards. And if you feel better, sometimes you go out and play better.
I know one thing, John Sadak, I think he said it last night in the broadcast, because after, I think it was last night or the night before, I can't remember. It was after, was it Ellie? No. Yeah, I think Ellie hit the home run. Somebody hit the home run and went to Lux and whispered in his ear, I guess, what he saw. I can't remember who hit the home run. And then John Sadak went on to say, like, you don't see them looking at the iPads as much as they used to. They're more talking to their teammates and communicating about what they saw.
Well, no, some of any sport is paralysis by analysis, right? Or analysis by paralysis, whatever the saying is with it. That you do kind of overthink things, and you do overcoach things, and you do overlook at things, and it can get in your head and get in a funk. Sometimes it's the old see the ball, hit the ball routine, right? The Tony Perez, and sometimes that's the best way to go about it.
Sometimes it's that easy. Paul Pinner is asking about the Ellie's control 6 years. So
I think that's correct. Because the arbitration will kick in. And listen, it's one of those ones. It's out of everybody's control. That's why I don't fret about that kind of stuff. I mean, you know who his agent is. It's Scott Boras, and that's never an easy thing.
He ain't gonna let you sign early.
No, he's not. And that's just the thing. I know people are clamoring to get Ellie signed early. I think everybody would love to, except he's who he's represented by, and it's just not going to happen because he realizes what the market can potentially be for the guy. I mean, the Reds. I mean, I guess could they conceivably wow them with hey, this is going to be guaranteed money, man. And your guy is never going to have to worry again the rest of his life, where he bets and says, no, he's going to get in the billions when the time comes. And I'm going to bank on that. So I get what the fan base wants, and it's understandable. And listen, there was a segment of the fan base, and maybe there still is, that thought the Hunter Green signing was not a good one when they did it. I thought it was a great signing.
It was a great one. Yeah.
And again, you're always on the worrisome part of the injuries, and that's a lot of money if Casey gets hurt. And right now, obviously, he is hurt. But that seemed like a very good deal at the time, and it seems like an even better deal now, even with Hunter being on the DL.
Yeah, I mean, IL now. I'm politically correct. Yeah, I call it the IL. But yeah, I was for buying him out of the arbitration stuff. I think that was a great idea. I wish they would do that with more of the players. And I mean, if Ellie's gonna be maybe one of the first $1 billion players. I mean, what I don't want to happen is I don't want it where I've seen it in the past. Carl Linder did this. He paid Barry Larkin a whole bunch of money, paid Kinkery Jr. a whole bunch of money, and paid nobody else. And then expect us to go down.
Right.
And then Castellini just did the same thing with Joey Votto. Paid him, didn't pay anybody else. We're not going to go do that. You know, we like last couple nights watching that ballpark. And I know there's been some Yankees fans there, but there's been a majority of the Reds fans have been there. But watching that ballpark being filled up and the excitement in that stadium gets me pumped up. It's like my buddy at work was talking about this. Like, can't the Castellini sit there and go, wow, this is kind of cool. Maybe we should like try to have this more often, you know, instead of trying to have one guy, you know, keep this line going of drafting and developing guys so we can have a championship baseball team, which is what Bob said he was going to have once he
long time ago.
That's what he said. I'm like, I'm still waiting for it, but I don't know. I mean, I hope they look at this and see the potential of what it's like to have a winning ball team in this town.
And I think you saw it during the winning streak in 2023. I mean, fans came out of the woodwork to go to games during that winning streak, and it felt like, okay, this is the beginning of something. That's what the last time I was on here, that's what felt so downtrodden about that excitement came and went quickly, and things don't look as rosy as they did now. Well, fast forward, and we're seeing the guys again. They were always counting on Ellie to be a star, Matt McClain to be a guy, CES to be a guy, which is still open for debate at this point in time, for Hunter Green to be an ace, for Nick Lodolo to be a top rotation guy. I don't know if they knew what they had in Andrew Abbott, but sometimes you land that guy. He was highly thought of, but not like those other guys. And then you filled in with Chase Burns and hopefully at some point with Rhett Lauder. And you do then have a lot of guys you want to come see at the ballpark.
I mean, Skinny, this is the most, I've said this, I think last time we got on the show, this is the most pitching I've ever seen the Reds ever have in my entire life. I mean, we've never been a starting pitching team.
Yeah, I guess the early 2010s teams were pretty damn. I mean, you had Cueto, Matt Latos when Matt Latos was good.
We got guys in the minors that were bringing up.
That's a fair point. Right.
That's more of what I'm talking about. The plethora that we had, not only in the majors, but in the minors that are keep coming. So, I mean, it's going to stop eventually because you're not going to be able to keep – we're going to hopefully win and not get the high draft picks. But watching these guys pitch, and that's what was so frustrating at the beginning of this year is that we talked about this. It wasn't the pitching. It was hitting. And now the offense is coming around. And, like, we're starting to get healthy. I mean, Hayes is going to come up here soon. Marquez is going to be coming up here. I mean, Will Benson, I kind of wrote him off. I didn't think he was going to be even on this team this year. And he's starting to come around. So, I mean, we get everybody healthy. Like, we don't have enough spots for everybody.
It's a good problem to have. Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. Now, Tito, do you think Tito has – okay, we keep talking about the Tito Francona effect. Have you noticed a difference in this team from last year when David Bell managed it, or atmosphere in the locker room or anything compared from David Bell to Tito? I
don't think it's palpable, but I do think their personalities are different enough that the players do get that, right? I mean, David was just kind of a matter of fact, go along guy. I think Terry is one of those guys who will pump you up when he needs to pump you up, and he'll kick you probably in the ass when you need it. It'll be behind closed doors, and I think that's a good thing too. You don't need to hear that stuff in public. I mean, there were a lot of mental errors at times this season. Guys, Ellie makes mental errors probably more than most should, and some of it's out of just over aggressiveness. And there's a fine line there. You always hear these, one manager wants to go first to third a lot and it's successful more times than not, but then they get thrown out enough where the next guy that comes in, well, we're going to play station to station, 3-run home run base. I mean, it's always that wave of a different guy, but I think there's a fine line there, right? Of running into mistakes, making mistakes and not making them over and over. Yeah. If you're really uber aggressive on the bases, you're going to run into an out, but if you're not running into outs all the times by being stupidly aggressive, then I think that's a good thing.
Right, exactly. Chris here's got looks to been a hell of a pickup.
Yep.
That guy has come through when he's called on. And case point last night. And I mean, I went last time you were on the show because I was irritated. I mean, Lux wasn't hitting that good. Austin Hayes wasn't doing that good. But I mean, Austin Hayes is still on the IL. But Lux, I think he's been a very competent and consistent. He's been one of the most consistent players for the Reds.
Yeah,
he was in the third, first, and left field. He hadn't played the outfield that much, and he's done okay.
I mean, he was miscast at a chunk of this season batting cleanup. I mean, that was where the issue was. He was miscast batting cleanup, and he was batting cleanup at the time by default. There really wasn't anybody else to plug into that spot, and so you're like, this is the cleanup hitter, and he's not hitting like a cleanup hitter. Well, he never was going to hit like a cleanup hitter. I mean, he's a number 2 guy or a number 7 guy in your lineup, in a good lineup. And to your point, I mean, he's played a bunch of different positions. He's played them pretty competently, and I think those guys are super important to have. I mean, one of my favorite players of recent vintage was Ben Zobrist. I mean, you could put Ben Zobrist in a bunch of different spots, and I think that guy is vital because, again, depending on lineup matchups, depending on hot bats, not hot bats, you can plug him in a lot of different spots and go, we'll be fine there today.
And that's what, if you look at the Reds lineup, the only 3 set spots are Ellie, McLean, and TJ Frito. Everybody else, he mixes.
He bounces them.
Yeah, which I was like, I grew up when I was a kid, Big Red Machine, and the 1990 team. I mean, Lou moved people around somewhat, but not as much as they do now. And I've always been one that I think the lineup is better when it's set. But these young players now, I think they don't care. I think they want to play, obviously, but they're used to moving around.
Yeah, no, I mean, CES has played some third base in addition to first base.
I'm surprised how good he's played.
Good. He's more athletic than than you think. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, I think tonight, I don't have the lineup in front of me, but I believe Spencer Steer's playing left field again. So again, and the ability to be able to do that again, you got a lefty tonight, arguably one of the best in the game, and so you're trying to stack the lineup with righties, and sometimes that means, who am I putting here? Well, I don't have to put a guy completely out of position. Would I prefer a better defensive left fielder? Probably. But Spencer Steer's competent, but I want his bat in the lineup. And I think, again, when you can do that, that makes your team a whole lot better.
And our catching tandem has been unbelievable. I mean,
well, Trevino's starting tonight, and Stevenson's DHing, for goodness sakes.
They've been doing that a lot lately. Trevino, he's been a great defensive catcher. This is the best offensive year he's ever had in his entire life. I don't know if it's the ballpark or what, but he's hitting better than he's ever hit ever. I think the Yankees are seeing him going, damn, why do we trade him?
Yeah, they got a guy with 12 home runs catching for them, though, too, Austin Wells.
That's true.
But your point's a good one.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you have to have guys to have career years to have that year, and he's having one. And Lance McAllister says this all the time, and I agree with him. You can't pick the year picks you.
No, right.
And maybe I'm not there yet, Skinny. We gotta keep going, see what goes on after the All-Star break. But if we're still playing like this after the All-Star break, we gotta start adding, and we got player. And things use this minor league stuff. Now I'm not saying the Cam Colliers or South Stewarts or none of the big, but some of the other guys that are down there that are potentially majors. Go get some veteran batter.
It'll probably cost you an arm, and that arm could be a Nick Martinez. And I still think Nick Martinez has a valuable role here, but at the same time, you're paying him $21 million. You're not paying him $21 million to come out of the bullpen. But that seems to be a good fit for him at the moment. And again, maybe you have to bite the bullet with some of that stuff. And I hope Paul's right. I mean, I think I've said this. You said this. That I mean, I'm still bullish on the guy, and it felt like when he came back and he had that run of home runs, that okay, here we go. But it feels like he then starts getting home run. He starts getting home run happy. Again, if you look at his college numbers, his minor league numbers, he hasn't just been a power guy. I mean, he's been a pure hitter, and
he's a line drive hitter.
Yeah, and I thought that's the guy we saw in 2023 that, again, was compromised by injury last year. Okay, I'm going to write that part off because of the injury situation. Then this year, again, compromised by the back. And then when he came back healthy, you're like, okay, this is the guy. And fortunately, he hasn't been the guy. But maybe to your point, I mean, he had obviously had the big night last night.
Yeah.
Again, getting the start tonight against the lefty, and they could sure use that for sure.
Yeah, hopefully that triple gets him going, because I do think, well, them putting him in 4-hole, which that's where I want to see him, but that might put too much pressure on him, because
then you think home runs.
Power hitter. Yeah, you think home runs. And he needs to take line drive, so maybe he does better lower in the lineup. And
listen, in some ways it worked for McLean. That he batted Matt McLean ninth for a while and just literally let him hit through it, and he wasn't even hitting in the 9 spot, but just let him get regular at bats. I think let CES get regular at bats. It doesn't mean he has to be in the middle of the lineup as a key cog. I mean, he's hitting 8th tonight, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and he hit 8th last night. That's a good way to do it. Not as much pressure on you down the order, and you start just hitting line drives, and occasionally with his power, those line drives turn into homers. And to Paul's point, I really would hope that would be right, that he is about to get hot, because it would really make this lineup really lengthy.
If he could turn into the hitter I think think he can be, I think he's a number 4 hitter.
I do too.
If he does it consistently, what I think he can do. And I've had to defend him because people are like, he's not gonna be good. I'm like, dude, I believe it. He's been injured. If he can stay healthy, I think he's gonna be fine. The other guy I can't wait to see back up here is Marte, because damn it, he was starting to get back to where he was in 23. He was hitting line drives, and what I'm hoping, and this is good. The Reds don't have to rush him the way they're hitting and the way they're playing.
Correct.
They don't have to rush him. So if you get him back eventually and get Austin Hayes back, dude, our offense, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, should be pretty damn good.
It should be. Again, yeah. I mean, you now suddenly get a Hayes and a Marte back. I'm not saying you're left-handed pitching proof, but you're even better against left-handed pitching, and that's just been a bugaboo for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Now, All-Star game here. PJ Friedel got a shot because he deserves to be in there.
Yeah, I don't think so, only because I think Hunter Green and or Abbott, one of the two, if not both, and then Ellie will make it as a backup. That's 3 Reds, and again, don't forget everybody's got to have a representative. So yeah,
Is that
I don't.
actually a rule? Is that actually an MLB rule?
Okay. Yeah, every team has to have a representative, and sometimes that kind of hinders a guy who's maybe qualified. I mean, TJ's numbers are among the best among leadoff hitters in the game. Not among outfielders, but among leadoff hitters in the game. And I think he's deserving of it. But I think the other guys in the pecking order, at least one of the 2 pitchers, and maybe because of Hunter's injury, he doesn't go anyway. Right. But Abbott and Ellie, and then. I mean, maybe if you start looking, but then you're going to look and go, okay, there's 5 Dodgers and there's 4 Mets, and those guys add up too, right? First place teams. And is he deserving of a spot? Yeah, if there were 34 spots, I would say yes, but unfortunately, I think he's going to run into a numbers crunch.
So you think Abbott's going to get in there? Because to me, he is the most deserving out of all.
It's hard to ignore the numbers. It's almost impossible. Yeah. When I tell you that if push came to shove, if you gave me Hunter Green to make a start with his best stuff and Andrew Abbott, I'm going to take Hunter Green. Yeah. But the numbers support it. Again, Hunter being hurt, I mean, he may not be pitching until after the All-Star break for all we know. I hope that's not the case, and maybe that'll limit it. But no, I mean, Andrew Abbott's numbers are off the charts, and it's the level of consistency. I mean, it's start after start. I mean, he's had 1 bad outing against the Brewers where he threw 2 home run balls, and it happens. But other than that, it's like I think everybody's waiting for the wheels to fall off. I don't know why, but it feels like that because maybe, again, he wasn't as highly touted. He doesn't throw complete gas, although he strikes people out at a pretty good rate. You can't if you're the National League manager picking this, you can't ignore those numbers.
I've said this before. He reminds you of Tom Browning. Tom Browning didn't have
a little bit harder throwing Tom Browning.
Yeah, Tom Browning didn't have the gas, but he could put the ball where he wanted. And that's what Andrew Abbott does. And Cowboy said this on the broadcast before. He knows how to pitch. There's ways to set.
Yes, he does. That's why. Hey, and it's why he's able to go through the 3rd time in the order against teams. Is he kind of he doesn't have a set pattern that you can fall into, and he's got different stuff he can go to 3rd time through the order, and not just because he's pitch efficient can he do that, but because there's some guys, if you look at their numbers, man, they hit a certain number of pitches. It's not just because of their arm; it's just the number of things that teams have seen, or the 3rd time through a lineup, and their numbers get tattooed. I got a quick Tom Browning story. It's one of my favorites. Jeff Pecoro told me this when he was out at Reds fantasy camp one year. And he said there was a guy in camp who he goes, he was a good player. You can tell he played at some level, maybe even played college ball. He was good. But he was mouthy. And he was talking to Browning. Browning was pitching one day, and he said, I can't wait to hit off you because you don't throw hard enough. And Browning turns to all the defenders and goes, everybody have a seat. And he said he threw him 3 of the nastiest sliders you could ever see, and he didn't touch him.
Sit down. That is awesome. I would love to be able to do that one time.
I know.
That would be awesome. I don't. That's not my tool bag. I see. I was always really good at talking shit. I just I can sort of do it in cornhole now. So
all right, there you go.
It just depends on how many beers I've had. There's a fine line there.
The talk probably goes up with more.
It does. All right. So Abbott, Hunter Green. When is Green? Is he how close is he to coming back?
When you keep hearing week to week, and week to week to me is never a good thing. So I'm just guessing at this that they're going to try to get this through the All-Star break and see where they're at with it.
Yeah, it's scary of what it is. I mean, it's if I remember right, it's his back now, right? Not his hip. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
So that's not a good thing to mess with. But I mean, by the way, have you got to check out the Terry Francona's new captain chair? Have you got to sit in that yet?
No, I'm not. It's nice. It's nice.
It looks like he's going fishing. That's what it looks like. Now, hey, let's get to the Bengals here. We got less than a month, little
Yep.
over a month till training camp starts. Sounds like the rumors are that Trey Henderson and the Bengals are talking. I don't know what the hell that means. I have kind of went like 2 weeks ago. I thought he might be sitting out training camp. I'm kind of leaning more toward I think this might get done. Shamar Stewart, I've totally flipped, and I'm pretty much on the Bengals side because the guy in front of Shamar Stewart and the guy after him signed for the same contract with the stuff that the Bengals are trying to get in there. What's going on here? Are we going to get this stuff done before training camp? What do you think?
The Shamar Stewart one, I think the Bengals are going to be the ones that have to capitulate because I don't think he's going to. I think they're so dug in on this.
What do you think? All right, is that the right move for this kid who's got to prove himself right out the gate to dig in for this?
I mean, here's the thing: Texas A&M paid guys a lot of NIL. I think that's the issue with some of this. Is some of these guys have money? Do they have life-changing money? No, but they've got money, and so if you're him, you go, I'm not doing this. I'll go back in the draft next year, and a team's going to look again at my measurables and go, okay, you got some measurables. We'll pluck you. Maybe it won't be at 18. Maybe it won't be till later on that you're like, we're not going to deal with this kid, or because we're going to have language in our contract like that. I've always thought the solution to this is this. I get that they're balking because of the potential voids of guaranteed money. Just give him more signing bonus money, and maybe that will help get this thing done, because I don't think they're budging off this. The Trey one, again, this is not getting done at 35 if that's where they're going to stay at. It's just not. They're going to have to come down to some point, and the Bengals are going to have to come up at some point, and that's where the twain shall meet. So, whatever this new conversation was, it could have been, I know Trey was obviously mad that day he talked to us back in May about lack of communication. Well, I don't think it wasn't lack of communication. The Bengals made you an offer that you didn't like. There's no more communicating. Right. You come back and you counteroffer that. The counteroffer in this case probably isn't going to be, I want 35 mil again. And no, here's our offer. And sometimes that's where it gets left. Maybe this time there was another offer traded and they've come at least closer. I do see the scenario of him sitting out camp if this isn't done. I've gone with this whole ilk that I don't see him missing any games. And again, for a veteran edge rusher, if he's willing to put his hand down on September 7th up in Cleveland, then okay. Is all well? No, probably not. But at the same time, he's going to have to produce. He's going to have to play. He's going to have to play if he wants to get to free agency. And so, and he's going to have to play well because at his age, again, guys fall off the cliff. I don't think he's one of them, but they do. And if, let's just say, he plays mediocre and he gives 8 sacks, you're not getting paid what you think you were going to get paid. And that's what he's got away of, the security of what the Bengals are offering below his number. Again, if it's significantly below, I get it. But if it's close enough, you got the security of, I've got this signed, I've got my guarantees, I've got my money, as opposed to going to bet on myself. Or you can do what Jamar Chase did last year. You can do what T. Higgins did last year. You can bet on yourself. And they both did, and they both got paid in the end. Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I think that's what it might come down to if they can't. Well, obviously, if they can't come to terms. But like I said, I don't know. I hope this is just a fandom in me. I hope it gets done because we got such a good team, and I'm very curious to see what a difference Al Golden makes. Because we've talked about this before. We've got so many first, second round picks on this defense that we haven't gotten out of what we need to get out of. Like Dax Hill. I mean, that guy in this defense, now I'm not going to take credit for this. James Rapine said this on Locked Up Bengals. He could be that weapon where they could move him in, out, and safety. He can do all of those in one game. You got that on that defense. If he can do that, that's an elite weapon right there.
Well, if they don't sign a veteran safety before camp, and if they don't, shame on them. The fact they let the offseason program come and go without doing that makes me lean more towards that possibility that if he, a lot of coordinators on different scenarios go to the 3 safety look. Well, right now I'm not trusting Dejon Anthony as a third safety or Tyson Anderson as a third safety. Could I use Dax Hill as that weapon as a third safety? Can he float in and out? And can you keep maybe your outside corners fresh? I mean, get it in a rotation where, especially early in the year when Dax is still, not probably fully back from the knee injury. It's probably going to take a few games. I mean, probably be able to play on it, but again, he probably won't be back to full speed. That, get some snaps off of Josh Newton, get some snaps off of DJ Turner, get some snaps off Cam Taylor-Britt, put him in the slot some. I think you can use him as a weapon. I think that's the case. And if they come back to, if they don't sign a veteran safety before camp starts to get him in here for camp, the more I'd be leaning towards they're considering him more in that role. Maybe I'll be wrong, and we'll see when camp starts.
Now, what's the chances of them being right about the guards here?
Good question.
Fairchild, I mean, they're leaning a lot on it. I think it's Fairchild is left guard is his spot to lose. I always forget the guy's name from New Orleans we signed.
Lucas Patrick.
I don't know why I cannot remember that guy's name. Lucas Patrick and Cody Ford. But I like Rivers. Now I know Rivers didn't participate at all in as far as guard goes. He was all during the
I think in some of that OTA stuff though, if you're an offensive line coach with a young guy, you just want him to rep a spot and get used to that and get used to practicing that. I would be willing to I'll be willing to bet he gets some snaps at guard in camp. I think we talked last time. I don't think he'll be one of the actives on game day though. I just don't think that's going to take place. I think it'll be a backup center, probably Cordell Volson if he doesn't win the guard job, and then Cody Ford who can play both swing tackle and guard. Those would be your three backups, in my opinion. Yeah, listen, the guard thing's interesting. I guess the way I would look at it is this. Alex Kappa was not good last year. A lot of it was injury related. He played a lot hurt, and he to his credit, he played a lot hurt. Cordell Volson obviously lost his job and then got it back by default because of injuries at other positions where Cody Ford had to play tackle. So it's hard for me to believe you're not going to be better at guards, no matter what these guys are. The thing I'm hoping for is that it's not one of these guys wins their spots by default. It's that Dylan Fairchild plays well enough to be the left guard, or Cordell Volson plays well enough to win the left guard. And whoever wins that right, whether it's Patrick or Ford, that one of them plays well enough to go, that's the right guard. I hope that's the case as opposed to, well, yeah, Lucas is going to be the starter, and yeah, Dylan's going to be the starter. And you know why? Because we have to have somebody play left guard and right guard on game day. I hope that's the case. And we won't know until they get the pads on. I mean, those questions always come up during OTs. What do the guards look like? I don't know. They're not doing anything. You watch some of those from the bridge. Yeah. They're doing some stuff, but they're not enough that you can see how effective they're being. No. I think the good part was when we talked to Dan Pitcher was he talked glowingly about Fairchild's work ethic. He looks like the athlete we thought he was. He gave him high praise in a lot of different areas. It wasn't faint praise, and Dan's not a faint praise guy. I mean, if he thinks you're a good player, he's going to tell you that he thinks he's a good player.
Straight up dude.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting. That they're getting what they thought they were getting out of Dylan Fairchild.
And one thing, Rivers is a freaking mountain, dude.
He's a mountain, but I'll tell you what, there's a kid from BYU, Jacob Etienne, who is the biggest of the bunch. I mean, he is enormous. If you think Amarius Mims and Orlando Brown Jr. and Rivers are big, this cat's enormous. I don't know if he can make the team or not, but he is huge.
What number was he?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. If you look at, he's the biggest of the bunch. He's a tackle.
Okay, I have to check that out when I go back down there. I got a couple things here, Chris. If Shamar Stewart sits out next year's draft or this year's draft, whatever, sits out this year and goes back into the draft, and he gets drafted, other players will try it. Owners know that. Owners don't want that to happen. Now, okay, I'll put it to you this way. I think this is the craziest thing I ever heard because I don't think. One, he's not going to get a first round, like you kind of mentioned before. He's not going to be a first round pick next year if he goes to sit.
He could be. He could be.
He would.
I mean, if he goes back and he shows he's a workout freak. I mean, it's not like he went from age 24 to age 36 overnight.
He sat out a whole year playing football, Skinny.
Jamar Chase sat out a whole year playing football. Remember?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. All right.
And he was pretty darn good. He was pretty darn good from Jump Street, other than the training camp drops.
Yeah. Well,
and again, I go back to that one. I mean, some of these guys making the NIL money can go, am I set for the rest of my life? No. But am I good for a year? Sure, I'm good.
Yeah. Man, you depressed me now.
Sorry.
I'm like, there's no way you do that. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about Jamar Chase. Yeah, it was 2020. I don't know. I'd still be surprised. But, hey, as much as they're dug in on this, and do you think this is more of the – you really think? Well, I think it's Shamari's talking about it, but the agent I think is really pushing too to make a name for him too as well. The
thing we don't know is they've talked in the generalities of putting some things in there that would void future guarantees, but we don't know what those things are. Could it be if you get a parking ticket, and we think you suck, I mean, that's the thing. We just don't know what that is.
Right.
And, if it's something about breaking the law and all that, well, those are usually in contracts anyway. I mean, those are pretty standard things. So I'd love to know what the exact wording is that they're balking at and the exact wording that the Bengals are trying to put in.
Natty Ron is in the chat. What's up, Natty? It's his fault. It's hot here. He's from Arizona. He's back in Cincinnati.
He brought it with him.
He brought the heat, so we're all blaming Natty. All right. Nick here says, Chase Burns to have innings managed after the All-Star break. Probably.
Yeah, no, he is. And I think that was the yin and the yang of this, right? Did you want to burn his innings in Louisville or do you want to burn them here?
Right.
I said this on my podcast last week that if they do bring him up, and I didn't think they'd do it as fast as they just did it, let's just say you're a game out of first place on August 27th and he's reached what you think is his innings max. Are you really going to do that? Are you really? Or would you just say, hey, we won't start him every 5th day. We'll maybe go every 10th day, but we're going to get him some more starts because Chase Burns of right now has a 5-1 record with a 1.62 ERA. I mean, are you really going to do that?
I mean, it's the same problem they had in 23 with Abbott. When Abbott came up, end of the year, he was done, dude.
Yeah, he was cooked. Now, he was cooked, though. Yeah, he was cooked for sure.
He could. And that's what's going to happen to Burns. He's never pitched this many innings, so you're going to have to manage him. And the likelihood of them, just say the Reds make the playoffs, the likelihood of them manage him enough for him to be able to pitch in the postseason, I think is honestly highly unlikely, to be honest.
Yeah, I get the idea of managing innings and not burning guys' arms out, but I go back to, I didn't think Rhett Lauder looked like an injury-prone pitcher, and suddenly he starts this year injured and doesn't pitch, and I just think you just don't know, especially with young pitchers. Where's the limit?
Right. Now, where is Rhett Lauder at? Is he close, or what's the news?
I think the last I saw he was out in Arizona still in working out there, if I'm not mistaken. That was a week or so ago, I think.
So what's the off the top of your head, what's the Reds rotation right now? You got Abbott, Lodolo,
Singer,
and then who's the fifth? Who would be the fifth now?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, they went with the opener the other day when Suter opened in St. Louis. Right. So I don't know if they really have that set spot because that was the day Nick Martinez came in relief. And maybe is that the way you go with it? If you get a left-handed Brett Suter making the other team stack a right-handed lineup for 2 innings, and then Martinez comes in for 4 innings and faces that right-handed lineup, maybe that's the way to go. It's just a bullpen day with technically your starter pitching the middle part of that.
So is Martinez, is he definitely back in the bullpen now? Or
he is for now. I mean, that's where he pitched out of on Saturday. It was 2 days after he got bombed against them.
I guess has Frank said anything about moving him back or anything like that?
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Okay. Because that's the one spot that I'm trying to figure out who's going to cover that because Wilson, they got some pretty good news. Wade Wilson got some pretty good news about his elbow, right? Where he might be able to rest it and it might recover. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's I mean, at that age too, right? That's the thing for that would be troublesome to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's I felt bad for him. He finally worked his way back and had one start and then Herb. It kind of reminded me of Bronson Arroyo. Remember how hard he worked to get back?
Yeah, I think that's where Father Time is telling you it's time, man. It's just time.
He might have to go, and I can totally see him being a pitching coach or something. That dude seems like too much of a baseball guy.
He loves it. There's no question. He fought hard to get back.
Yeah, so I can see him being a coach or something like that. Maybe stay in the Reds organization that way, but we'll see. But the Reds are playing well this year. Well, now I'm happy. Question for you: are you surprised as much as I am as how Will Benson has come back around? Because last year I thought he was toast, to be honest.
I did too, and I still think it's a phase. I mean, I think if you had to run him out there every day for a period of time, he would play to the back of a baseball card of kind of what he is right now. I think in small doses he can get hot, like a lot of guys can. And when he can get hot, ball does jump off of his bat. The problem is there's a lot of times when he's not hot where the ball or the bat doesn't touch the ball. So, yeah, right. I mean, in a perfect scenario, he's probably your 4th or 5th outfielder and a left-handed bat to bring off the bench on occasion. I think that's probably the best case scenario.
And that's one thing good about Austin Hayes coming back soon because we could use his bat in the lineup. Jake Fraley, I think, had a great comeback year. He's kind of surprised me of how well he's hit. And I'm more surprised with his defense. I mean, I thought he was a bad defensive player, but some of the plays he's made out there this year, he's more athletic than I gave him credit for, to be honest.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, I never think he's going to be a big time home run threat or any of that stuff. I think in the perfect world, he's a fourth outfielder. But yeah, I think last year he was just going through so much stuff off the field that it just sapped everything he had as a baseball player.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, with our left and right fielders, I don't think we have a set left or right fielder.
No, you should. No, I don't either. I think you got platoon opportunities.
There's nobody on this team that like, oh, that's our left fielder or right fielder of the future. I don't think he's on this team, and I don't even know if he's down in the minor leagues. To be honest,
I don't think he's. No, I don't think he's down in the minor leagues.
And that's where I go back to where I wish they would have added, a veteran bat in this off season, which it still could come back to bite them. But if, like I said before, this
could be the trade deadline,
right? Trade deadline, and that's where I hope that the Kesleys are in this thing, because there's been too many times that, like, I'll go back to I think it's 21 when the last year we had Castellanos. They were in that thing. They were so close to being in it. They were in it. I think, what to say, 4 games out of first place by the time the trade deadline came around or got close to it. They did
nothing.
Make a trade. Well, I think they made a trade, but they got like one pitcher, and it was like almost too late. By the time they made the trade, we were out of it.
Yeah,
it's like I don't trust them to be proactive enough to go get that guy.
It's a fair point. Yeah, it's a fair point.
That's what worries me. But we'll see what happens. Skinny, it's been awesome having you on. I appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can follow you, about the Skinny podcast and everything you got going on.
Head to local12.com/sports, or you can follow me on the X at local12skinny. I appreciate it, man.
You too, buddy. I'll see you down.
All right, take care.
Well, I'll wait for you for the bridge again.
It'll be hot.
See you, dude. Bye. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Skinny's awesome. Make sure you guys follow him and check out all his articles. He does a great job for Local 12. I mean, it's only him and Yanni. They're the only ones that got it at Local 12 as far as their sports department goes. So they're working their butts off. Reds game starts here in about 45 minutes. Singer's pitching tonight. Max Fried is the pitcher for the New York Yankees, which, if the Reds can beat this pitcher, it's going to be very impressive. I'm not saying that they have no shots. That's not what I'm saying at all. But Max Fried is a very good starting pitcher. He's left-handed. We struggle against left-handers. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team reacts. Because one thing I've liked, what I've seen from this team lately, is fight. I didn't see that fight earlier in the season. There were too many times where, hell, you guys watch it. Got to the 5th inning, we hadn't scored anything. Like, well, this game's over. We're not going to score anything. We tied the game up twice last night after the 5th inning, and in the extra inning. So I like what I'm seeing. I don't totally trust it yet, because we went through what we went through last year, and I've only seen this for a month. We had 2 months of them not hitting like that and not grinding out at bats and not coming back from games yet. So I'm not saying they can't. They got to win. They got to keep doing it. And like I told Skinny, they start doing this after the All-Star break. It's going to be a lot of fun. Because we haven't had a real pennant chase here. I don't count 2020. 2020 is such a screwed up season. 2021 was kind of a pennant chase, but like I said, we were out of it pretty much right around the trade deadline, maybe before that too. But I want to say 2013 was probably the last time we were really in a pennant race. So we'll see. Let's see here. Yes, Natty, our winning series matters. That's and they won the series. That's the thing. The series is won. So, but I'm greedy. I want the sweep. I want to go beat a very good left-handed pitcher. Holmes, what's up? Do the Reds have a 3 or 4 game series? It's 3 games. Tonight's the last night of it. 3-game series. And Natty, ice. I'm sipping the Reds Kool-Aid, not drinking it. That's a good way to put it, Natty Ron. Which I think is funny. You're Natty Ron on here, but if you're on ESPN 1530, it's Ronnie Ron. Yeah, dude, if you hit the likes up. But yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I'm not down on it, because I've seen this too many times. But what I've said before, and I said this back in April, May, when I've done Red shows, pitching travels. We're not going to get out pitched most of the time. Yes, there's going to be times where guys just don't have it and we're going to lose. But 9 times out of 10, the Reds take their starting pitcher out there. their starting pitcher is going to give them a chance to win the game. And that is a huge factor in being able to make the playoffs and get back in this race. We just threw so many good starting pitching starts, threw them away in April, May. It's ridiculous. If we were hitting like we are now back in April, May, we might be in first place or pretty damn close to it. So that's something that worries me is, and I said, this is why the Bengals have to get off to a good start. The Reds have to get off to a good start. You have to get off to good starts in the season. It's important because every game counts. I don't care in football. You're playing 18 games. All of them count. 162 in baseball. They all count. You got to win as many as you can. You got to win the series. You can't just give games away. And the Reds gave so many games away in the first 2 months of the season that I just hope. Luckily, it doesn't seem like they've gotten too far ahead of us. I don't know if we're going to win the division. I'm not going that far. But the wild card, I think basically out of there's 3 wild cards. We're 4 games out of the final, the third wild card, however they count it. We're like 2.5 out of the second and third. I think it's, if I'm doing that right. It's close. It's viable. It's not crazy to think that the Reds could do this because I believe this in April. I thought this team was going to play some deep, and I knew they were going to have pitching. So we'll see what happens. But the whole thing with Chase Burns, enjoy him while he's pitching. I like I said, like I cannot, if the Reds make the playoffs, I cannot see him having the arm strength to be able to pitch and be effective in the playoffs. Kind of like Andrew Abbott. He was done. He was shot by the time his rookie year. They pitched him a lot. And that's just the way it is. You got to build your arm up. Hell, he pitched a complete game the other night, and he's been fine ever since then, which was kind of a little worrisome. They threw over 100 pitches and had a complete game. How he would bounce back from that, but he's bounced back pretty good. Let's see here. What are you saying, Natty? Ice. Looks like the Braves and Reds series is looking promising. The one at Speedway. That's going to be interesting to watch that one. I mean, I'll tell you that. I'm more interested to watch it on TV. I don't know if I'd want to go there. I think I want to go there for like the party, but to actually watch the game, because from the way it looks, it's going to be an infield. And the seats are going to be, so you have the racetrack and then the seats. So seats, racetrack, and then the ball field. So I'm not sure how good your seats are going to be. I think on TV, it's going to look pretty daggone cool. But I have to try to watch it there. We'll see. Let's see here. Holmes, win tonight and sweep the almighty Yankees. Yeah, that's the plan. We'll see what happens. Yes, Natty, pitching is the Reds' strength. That is definitely true. Anything else in there? Nope. I think I've covered everything you guys got in there. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, share. I've enjoyed talking about the Reds. It's funny. I like talking Reds, but I talk Reds and I don't get as many views. So, so I usually, but I'm like, there's nothing going on with the Reds. That's why I talk Chase Burns time. But tomorrow, I am going to be joined by the guys. I don't know how many of them, but the guys from the Bengal Pulse podcast. We'll be doing my show live at 5:30 tomorrow. Then I'll be recording a show on their channel for them later on that night. So you can watch the guys from Bengals Pulse on my show tomorrow. But thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can follow me on all those, along with Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. I'll be pulling a sound off later on tonight, put it on the podcast. You can check it out on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a comment and a 5-star review so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast, because I get like 1 or 2 plays. So, hey, do a favor, go listen to the podcast. And shout out to my sponsors. They are as followed. Priority Lawn and Landscaping. It's hot as hell out there. You don't want to cut your grass. Maybe you got multiple properties. Give Priority Lawn and Landscaping a call. You got the flower bed you don't want to do. I mean, like I said, it's hot. Who wants to be out there doing any yard work? Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Don't think it. Call them at 513-430-6114. That's 513-430-6114. You can also follow them on Facebook. Message them on Facebook, and you can call them. And when you call Johnny, tell me you heard about him from Sports with strawberry ice. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Windows and Door, Meyer Window, Door, and more. Check their website out at MyersCincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. And of course, my favorite brewery. I wish they canned their beer, or something so I can drink at the house, but I have to go to Moreline Lager House to get my delicious favorite beer. But Moreline Lager House is awesome. Check them out tomorrow night. You can listen to the Reds game and listen to the music, or watch the Reds game and listen to the music down at Rocket on the Roebling. It's a good time down there. It's in the grassy area right outside of Moreline Lager House. We got a stage going on there. I suggest bringing a fan, drink some water, and drink some delicious beer and eat some delicious food from Moreline Lager House. Again, we will most likely be doing some stuff there this football season. Working on the details, but that will be announced sometime soon. But between now and then, go drink you some Moreline Lager beer. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. If you guys missed the new intro, you're going to have to check the new outro out. Remember one thing, Houday for life. Throw it up. That's your sports, baby. See ya! Another great show. You guys still here? The show's over. You can come back tomorrow. I'm out of here. See ya.